I've traveled all around the globe as a bartender and brand ambassador for many of the world's finest spirits. So when it came down to choose a maiden city to kick off our web series, one destination immediately trumped all others: Tampa, Florida. Sounds crazy, right? New York, London, Paris, or even Poland would make more sense. But this is not a show about what makes sense. This is a show about discovery. And Tampa is a perfect city to pair with zoo, because just like Zubrowka, there's more to it than meets the eye. What if I told you there was a primeval forest in Poland where an endangered herd of sacred bison roams protected and free? And what if I said the sweet-smelling grass they eat has been infusing transformative flavor into rye vodka of the most excellent kind since the 14th century? Would you believe me? I'm award-winning bartender Daniel Undhammar. I've been mixing cocktails since before I was old enough to legally drink them. It's my mission to share the true story of Zubrowka with the world. Follow me as we journey the Bison Trail with Zoo. Situated on Florida's Gulf Coast, the rest of the planet believes this port city is nothing but sunshine and beaches. But that's the first of many misconceptions. The beaches are miles away in St. Petersburg, and I'll be visiting Tampa's sibling city soon enough. But right now, I'm all about the local flavor of the place once called the Big Guava. So what makes Tampa special? Why is it on my list of top-shelf drinking destinations? In a word, pirates. Who were then followed centuries later by mobsters, another form of pirate, only with slightly better tailoring. Both appreciated a good drink, and the members of the Tampa Mafia did their drinking at establishments like the Columbia restaurant in the Cuban Sicilian neighborhood of Ybor City. It would be a sin for me not to stop in and marvel at the amazing bar. The Columbia is the oldest restaurant in Florida, and at an astonishing 52,000 square feet, it's the largest Spanish restaurant in the world. If I had a time machine, I'd set it to 1905, the year this place opened, so I could tend this bar. It's that special. This beautiful bar, original mahogany, installed in 1905 when the restaurant opened. Historical, I mean, still intact, more than 105 years later. Imagine the stories that this bar could tell. Joe DiMaggio, Marilyn Monroe, Bob Hope. This is one of the reasons I got into this business. Look at this place. They just don't make them like this anymore. They can't. It's a treasure. I'm meeting up with my good friend Ro Patel at the historic Don Vicente Hotel. Ro and I go way back to our London days. And now he's one of the driving forces in Tampa's emerging cocktail scene. The man is a true visionary. This strip of Ybor reminds me of Bourbon Street, though at any moment you're more likely to see the flash of a cigar being lit than the flash of a young lady's bosom. The hotel is just off 7th Avenue. Rose says it used to be a clinic and the basement was an apothecary and a makeshift morgue. During Prohibition, it became a speakeasy. Sounds like my kind of place. So happy to be down here again, and we're kind of starting off this series of the growth of the Bison Trail in the U.S. and this place is truly magical.
The bar movement here is so young. These bartenders are awesome because they're like sponges. They take all this information in, bring these awesome products that they get to play around with and really discover. It's not just about a generic flavor. And talking about quality, Zubrowka just, speaks about it. And these guys are ready to listen, When I came here to Tampa 4 years ago from London, I saw a huge gap in the market just of quality cocktails. People didn't want to taste sweet cocktails. They wanted to go savory. They wanted to go earthy notes. They wanted to hit all these other flavor palette
fully tasting the spirits as well.
Exactly. And my job was made so much easier because everyone was receptive,
Now, let's go and have a look.
Awesome.
Cool. According to legend, the son of the clinic's doctor would dismember local prostitutes, then cremate them in the incinerator that still exists somewhere behind these walls. They say the ghost of the nurse that helped him haunts the basement. Talk about spirits. Actually, Ro and I could talk about anything. He's that good of a mate. I'd love to stick around and see more of Ybor, but I'm overdue at the cradle of Tampa's cocktail scene, the place Ro envisioned when he first moved here.
Hello, welcome to Ciro's. The Speakeasy was the last place in America you got to drink from 1920 to 1933. And it's representative of a place where people love alcohol. We love to come in, we love to have a good cocktail, we love to have a good time. A good speakeasy needs to feel a little out of the way, a little secluded from your everyday life. It needs to provide an environment where you can gather and talk and have a good time. But most importantly, a really great drinks program. We're doing something that they've done in New York and Chicago and San Francisco and LA for a solid 10 years. But what we did is we brought it to Tampa. And Zubrowka has a very interesting flavor profile, something that you don't get out of a lot of, well, frankly, vodkas are supposed to be tasteless and odorless. I wouldn't necessarily categorize Zubrowka as just a vodka, it's so much more. Zubrowka drinker is probably a clear spirits drinker. Both vodka and gin drinkers can appreciate it. Vodka drinkers, when they're looking for something more, they're looking to taste the spirit coming through in the cocktail, they're looking for something interesting and different. But maybe they're wary of gin because they don't like the taste of juniper. Likewise, your gin drinkers, especially ones that like to get into the different botanicals, can greatly appreciate the flavor profile of Zubrowka. I don't necessarily think it's not for the brown spirits drinkers. I know that I enjoy it, and I'm a whiskey man myself. And then just your general kind of cocktail geek. Anyone that really wants to enjoy something interesting and different.
Listening to a great bartender like Bob makes me so proud of what I do. The man is a true credit to the craft. It's going to be an honor for me to step behind his bar and show him one of my favorite signature cocktails with Zu, the Fleur de Pologne, the flower of Poland.
I'm going to start with some mint. I'm going to throw in about 4 fresh leaves of mint into here, and just to kind of bruise it when we shake it, just to get a little bit of the aroma, not too overpowering, and just going to give it some, as you can, just the freshness of mint just goes a long way. I'm going to start with the lemon juice. I'm going to put in ½ an ounce of fresh lemon juice. We've got an ounce of the cloudy apple juice. Apple cider. Apple cider. That's called in the US. I'm going to add a few drops of the rhubarb bitters just to really have that kind of spring in a cup. I'm then going to pour in the Saint Germain. I'm going to add in about ½ an ounce in here. Just to lengthen some of those floral notes, some of those. Give it a nice, delicate sweetness. And of course, a good measure of Zu, so about 1 3/4 ounces. Gonna give this a good shake. We're gonna grab a chilled cube, and first I'm just going to give this a little spritz of absinthe. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
And just going to double strain that. And as a garnish, going to, of course, finish it off with our beautiful Polish bison grass. So the rest that. And I give you the Fleur de Pologne, the flower of Poland. Something that has a lot of depth, a lot of flavor, a lot of aroma to it.
My first stop on the Bison Trail is nearly complete. Tampa was everything I could ask for and more. In the morning, I'll travel across the bridge to St. Petersburg, where I'll connect once more with Rhode. I really don't want my last night in Tampa to end, but I have a feeling St. Petersburg will have a similar effect on me tomorrow.